Hi everyone, it's Mark here again. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. My job title is Chief of Stuff. That's my new job title, just to change it up a bit. We're 120,000 strong across 8 LinkedIn groups with 200 new members joining us every day at the moment, which is very exciting. But this is the best bit of the job for me. This is where I get to introduce you to one of our full members. Full membership is entirely optional, but we're member funded. We don't have any other revenue streams. So I'm very grateful to Ian. And I've just noticed I've misspelt his name on his screen. So he's not Ian J. Jones, he's Ian Jones. There we go, rename. Ian, thank you so much for joining me today for this.
You're very welcome, Mark.
So you're in Berlin.
Everybody.
Sorry?
Say hello to everybody.
Oh yeah, I'll give you the chance. You're at your gallery, Galerie P6 in Berlin, which is great. And you're a full member, so thank you very much for that. We're going to do something a little bit different today from the normal interviews that I've done with some of our members. We'll do the other one later, but we wanted to challenge the people who watch this today. So tell me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that Galerie P6 is in Berlin, and you are actively representing the artist Paul Gardner, and some of the work he does is the most incredible pointillism.
You're absolutely right, Mark. Yes.
An example of which is behind you, and we're going to show that in a minute, because one of the things that Ian and I explored earlier in a meeting was the wonderful opportunity that art lovers have to see what they see in an abstract pointillist painting, so that they feel part of the process, really. So we're going to give you the chance during this call to explore the work and see what you see, and we would very much like you to tell us what you see in the painting. But before we do that, Ian, could you give us a bit of the Ian story? How do you happen to be in Berlin? What does an average day look like? And what your superpower and passions might be?
Well, I started the art gallery because I was very bored, I think, with living in Marbella. So I came to Berlin, set up the art gallery at the beginning of the pandemic, opened in the pandemic, and then improved the business the year after the pandemic. My typical day is really making sure the gallery looks great and going out and meeting the people in the local area to encourage them to visit the gallery.
Excellent. Now they'll have a better reason to do so soon, because one of the things we explored was inviting people to come into the gallery and see the work, the original work in the gallery, so that they can experiment with their own imagination and see what they see in the picture. We talked about this earlier. A great portrait will tell you something about the subject. A really, really wonderful portrait will tell you something about yourself. So what we'd like people to do is to come to the gallery, stand in front of the picture, and allow their imagination to fill the gaps and tell us what they see. Is there anything in there that, because inevitably that it's all going to be different, and it's all going to be, and it's not intended by the artist. So it's a kind of co-creation process of an artistic experience that we're hoping that people will enjoy at the gallery. Does that sound about right, Ian?
That's absolutely right, because I've already been taking some sort of an opinion poll of friends of mine, and I've got an amazingly different variety of answers. Some people see fantasy figures, some people see nothing. And, I'm not an art person, so why should you ask me the question? So you get a variety of different opinions from different people, but I think it's very positive. People like the concept of pointillism because they can view what they want to see in the work. And that's so critical to the experience, as you mentioned earlier.
I think it's great fun. It's great fun. And I think some people, and I've experimented by doing something similar with some of the work from other artists in our community, and I saw a prancing horse in one, and nobody else could see it until I pointed it out. But I think it's a lovely way of involving people more in the work, and I think people will be surprised at their imaginative powers when they're standing there as well. So let's give it a try then, shall we? This is an experiment that we're going to do. So I'm sharing the screen now. This is the picture that we'd like you to study. And perhaps whilst people are browsing through it, Ian, you could tell us a little bit about the artist, Paul Gardner.
Well, Paul is an Englishman who came from England and moved to Berlin because he thought he wanted a new style of life here. As an artist, he felt a bit stifled in England, but in Germany, and particularly in Berlin, it's the center for many, many artists that come here from all over the world. In essence, he found a home where he could build his own art studio, and that helped him to exemplify what was in his mind. His work is not only pointillism, it's in various different forms. But I think now that we've found that pointillism is so popular, he's going to create more pointillism works soon.
That's great. I can't wait to see them. That'd be great. Now, so if you're struggling to capture or to decode and decide what you can see in this picture, you might want to step back away from it. You might want to squint slightly. That can make a difference. So if you need more time, I suggest you pause this video and continue to look at the picture. Wherever this appears, the picture will be further down on the screen so you can have a look at it. But we're really keen to understand what you can see in that. So do the spoiler alert, I'm going to tell Ian what I see. And see if that works. So please pause and come back later. But meanwhile, when I first looked at this picture, I saw, I don't know, can you see my cursor moving on there, Ian?
Yes, I can.
Okay, brilliant. So what leapt out to me first was this curve. I don't know if you can see that curve.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Now, and this area over here, this struck me as a pathway.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. And then this is a kind of out of place urchin-shaped bush in the pathway. But
So
this is
it's much darker actually than the other parts of the picture. Exactly.
yes. So, but I think there's my eye is being drawn this way.
Yes, I see where you're going with this.
And then for me, this is this area here is a door. It's got the right perspective as well. It's a door in a fence of some description.
Yes.
The fence line is here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then up here is a kind of hint of sky for me, and which is obscured. So this area here is all bush. Oh, is all bush and tree, and then it opens up here to a glimpse of the sky here. And
sky is a little bit blocked by the cloud cover as well. So he's managed to get the cloud cover and the sky in the same image.
Yes, although that wasn't intended at all. You know, this is a random abstract pointillist painting. So Paul, this is not a path for Paul. Paul did not say this is a path, this is a door, this is sky. True. which is where the fun is. Now, I can also see, if you could probably turn your head sideways and I can see a car, an old Mercedes. So if you look at the picture on its side, I can see a car, and this is the front wheel.
Oh yeah, yes, and now I see what you mean.
Yeah,
I looked at it in that way. Yes.
Yeah, and if you turn and if you turn the other way, this section starts to look like something. I'm not quite sure what that is. It's also subtly hinting at a clasped hands like this.
Yes, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
There's a thumb, or there's a thumb. And so that's what I love about this art form, is that it involves me. And for me, when I see what is abstract, sort of semi-abstract, but clearly a beach scene or a house of some description, or you're leading me. I don't want to lead the viewer. I feel as though when I'm looking at something that is, because Paul's work in general is wonderful. You've shown me quite a bit, which is fantastic. I think there's one that's behind your head, which is which is reminiscent of a bookcase. Whether that was intended or not, I don't know, but it's leading me into a bookcase thought. Nobody's led me into a pathway with a door and a horizon and a tree here. So it's a landscape. I've created a landscape abstract painting out of Paul's abstract pointillism that wasn't intended, and that's what I love about it. So I'm really keen that we should hear from people. We might do a poll on LinkedIn. You know, can you see anything in this picture?
Very good idea, Mark. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. So that's the game for today. And just going to stop sharing that picture. Excellent. So I love it. I think it's great. The other thing, of course, the wonderful thing about abstract pointillism of that nature is that it's eminently appropriate for a wide range of places and spaces, because not only does it allow you to decide what it is, it doesn't tell you what it is. So true. Brilliant. No, I wish you all the best with that, because I think that kind of work is great. Excellent. Now we're going to have some fun. I'm actually going to do the fantasy cultural year with you. That's going to be fun. I don't know if you've seen any of the interviews that I've done on this, but it's very straightforward. I'm going to create your fantasy cultural year from the answers to 10 easy questions. How does that sound, Ian?
Go ahead.
Let's try. Let's go.
I'm up for that.
Good. It's good fun. I'll lead the way. Now, in order to do this, I need to place you somewhere in the world. And I'm going to place you sitting at a cafe outside your favorite building.
Where is that favorite building?
Exactly. Yes.
It's opposite my gallery. It's Cafe Calville. It's an old-fashioned reproduction 1930s cafe.
How do I spell that? Because I'd like to show everyone.
The Calville is spelled Kalwil. Calville.
There we go. Let's have a look. I'm going to share my screen so our guests.
And it is, Cafe Calville is on Instagram if anybody wants to see. Those are the interiors shots.
Is that the exterior?
Exactly correct. Absolutely, you've got it.
Excellent. Right.
This is like a Parisian cafe. Yeah.
Right. You're sitting here.
Yes.
Okay. At that table.
I have done many times.
Oh, this is great. That's the first time we've been able to say that. So Ian's sitting there, enjoying the view of his own gallery.
Correct.
Great. Now, I want you to imagine that there is a book next to you on the table. It's 6 p.m. It's sunny, just like in that photo. And there is a book on the table. It can be any book you like. It could be a book that's changed your life, saved your life, a book that is a favorite or a recent discovery. What book is next to you on that table?
It's a book about Francis Bacon.
Lovely.
I was taken by a friend, an elderly friend, to see Francis Bacon in London, in the National, in one of the main galleries in London. And I was totally, it might change my life, seeing the work by him.
Brilliant. Love that. That's great. And next to you on that table is a drink. It's 6 p.m, sunny. What's the drink?
Well, it would be probably sparkling water.
Okay.
It's not what you wanted to hear, but normally I don't drink anymore because I have a health problem, so I don't drink. But
okay.
I love sparkling water. I love milkshakes. I love fruit punches. I love all sorts of drinks that don't have alcohol in them.
Brilliant. You can have that. That's there. Now, you're feeling quite pleased with yourself because you've just had a meeting at the cafe with a wealthy Berliner family who have a family foundation, and they like to support research into the arts. Okay. They have asked you, especially with pointillism in mind, and they've asked you to do some research into the feasibility of creating art that allows the viewer to decide what it is. Okay.
Well, I was looking at pointillism. I've seen a lot of the work in Paris of artists like Surat and various other people, and when it was originally, shall we say, brought into the whole world of art, they tried to replicate a view, a vista, a scene from the countryside or in a city or people, and created that in a pointillism effect. Whereas as we have gone on for the last 70 years, gradually artists are now doing more abstract pointillism, which I think the original works from the Impressionist period are now so expensive, they're out of the average person's reach. And if somebody's like a family are creating a collection of work, it's a good opportunity to start with new, younger artists who are in the abstract manner, which will then become the sort of set level of art and collected in the same way as the Impressionists were.
Yeah. So this family foundation are going to fund a fantasy cultural year for you. It's highly paid. It's all expenses paid. It's first class all the way. You'll be invited to write a book about your findings during the year and a TV show. Okay. Now, isn't it? Now, all you have to do is to decide where you're going to go. And you have to choose a country or a city.
Well, the first place we have to go to is back to Paris.
Okay.
Because we have to look at the works in the Musée d'Orsay and various other locations to get an overview of the original pointillism movement. Once we've seen that, we can then look at places like Vienna, because Vienna has some sensational art in the modernista movement. And then we must move on to Malaga to see the work of Picasso where he was born. And then we must move on to Barcelona, where there's a fantastic Picasso museum, because ultimately pointillism led to abstract work.
Yeah. Oh, that's the itinerary. You've just created your itinerary. So we're going to do Paris, Vienna, Malaga, and Barcelona.
Correct.
Okay, during the course of the year. So you can have a chronological study of the development of pointillism. Excellent. And you'll be cited and as the pointillism expert, contemporary pointillism expert as a result. Now, this is a fantasy cultural year, so I can mix things up a bit, okay, to find out where your preferences lie. You're on the plane on the way to, where are we starting? Paris, okay? And the steward brings you a fruit punch, and on the plane, you turn left.
Yes.
You turned left, by the way, because it's first class all the way. And he hands you a note. Now, with slight tongue in cheek, the Berliner family want to study you while you study pointillism.
Okay.
And they want to find out what the impact is of limiting your musical listening to one very specific type of music for 12 months.
Ooh, that's a question to answer. I personally love the piano concertos of Rachmaninoff. Excellent. And I would wish to listen to those.
Okay, we'll have those. Rachmaninoff, very difficult to play. I've recorded some of them as a percussionist when I was in the orchestra, the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra, and you need enormous hands to play Rachmaninoff. So,
well, I saw recently a concert in the Philharmonie in Berlin where a choir and orchestra I support financially did a big concert, and we had a fantastic German pianist who played Rachmaninoff's second piano concerto.
Yeah.
It was spectacular.
Yeah, wonderful. Excellent. Okay, so you arrive in Paris. Some local students have been detailed to welcome you and take you under their wing in Paris and introduce you. And they're standing at the airport with your name on a card. They usher you into a limousine. You're taken into the center of Paris to a wonderful loft apartment overlooking the Louvre, for argument's sake. They say, right, make yourself comfortable, unpack, relax. We're going to take you out to a dance performance and then to dinner. Now you can watch any dance performance you like, any dancers, living or dead, any dance group or any dance style. What would you choose to watch?
We'd have to go to the Folie Bergère.
Lovely. Brilliant.
I haven't done, by the way. I've been to Paris many times, but
Yeah.
I've never seen the Folie Bergère. It's one of my aims in life.
Yes, that would be great. So we've done that, and now it's dinner in Paris. They've asked you what national cuisine you would enjoy. It doesn't have to be French.
Well, I've eaten at most of the 3 Michelin star restaurants in Paris, but as much as I like French cuisine, I think I would choose probably an Italian restaurant.
Okay, very nice. Excellent. Now we're rattling through here. Next day is Saturday and it's sport day. What sport would you like to watch for 2 hours on Saturday afternoon?
Well, if it was in summer, I'd love to go to a tennis match.
Yeah, it's summer, it's June.
Okay, then tennis would be the match I'd like to see.
We'll send you to Roland Garros.
Perfect.
I think the French Open's on now, isn't it? I think
you're probably right. But here we have European Football Championship in Berlin until the 15th of July.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. So is my brother. He's a football fan and he's a cellist and lives and works in Berlin. I must put you two in touch, actually. That would be good. Now this one's fun. Now now we've just flown to Vienna, okay? We're doing a whistle-stop tour for the first week or so. In Vienna, there is a new digital art gallery that has the capacity to place you inside a painting. So you can put on virtual reality glasses and literally step into a painting in a 3D immersive environment where the characters move, and you can see behind things that nobody ever saw. Whose work would you like to step into?
I'd like to step into the work of Velasquez. The paint, it's a triptych called Mars, M-A-R-S.
I'm going to show everybody. Right.
Because I have homage to Velasquez in my gallery of the 3 paintings. So I look at them every day.
It's a triptych, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, where is it? You'll have to help me find it. Let me share my screen so we can show people.
If you put in, yes, you've got it. Here on the top, it's all of these pictures are from it.
Right.
I mean, I've got abstract copies of, not direct copies, but I've got abstract homages to the artist Diego.
Right.
And that the top left screen is that image in 3 in different colorways.
Okay. Mars resting.
Yes, that's it. That's perfect.
Excellent. Okay, we've shown people that. That's good. Excellent. So you've immersed yourself. You've been able to walk around Mars.
Wow.
And he moves. That's where AI would come in handy. Because I think from memory, I think Tarzan was the first full-length featured cartoon animation movie that used what was called deep canvas. And deep canvas was what told the computer what was the other side of the tree.
Oh, I see.
So, and that was a kind of early artificial intelligence in movie making. So Velasquez did not paint the back of Mars. We can't see the back of Mars, okay? But the AI will paint it as if he had.
Oh, I see. How interesting.
Walk around. So you could walk behind the back of a Caravaggio character, for example, or you could jump into St. Mark's Square in a Canaletto. That's the plan. Anyway, right, we've got a busy week now in Vienna. Actually, no, we're going to move on to Barcelona for the first 3 of these.
Okay.
A pop or rock concert, followed by a play, followed by a musical. What are we going to go to?
Well,
I've flown out to join you, by the way.
Oh, by the way, I used to live in Barcelona, so I can speak with some authority about it.
Right.
I find it's a city that has many venues that you can see different productions in. And where would I suggest we go first?
A pop or rock concert. That's what we need on Monday evening.
Well, normally,
who would you love to see?
Theatre on the hill of Montjuic above Barcelona. That would be the most spectacular place to have a pop concert or rock concert there.
Yeah.
It's a natural, well, it's helped a little bit, like a Romanesque theatre built into the mountain.
And who would you like to see on stage in this fantasy cultural year? You can choose any.
Because I live in Germany at the moment, I must suggest the most famous rock band in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and because I'm not a fan of rock music per se, they're probably the most famous rock band in the world. And that's pushing it. I mean, forget Rolling Stones.
Who are you talking about? Who is it?
I cannot remember exactly how to spell their name because you're going to ask me how to spell it. but I will look it up while we're talking about it. If you just put the most famous rock band in Germany, it'll come up straight away.
Scorpions?
No.
Rammstein?
Rammstein.
Yeah, there we go. Rammstein. Yeah,
Rammstein is well loved, more so in other parts of the world, even more so than Germany. But they are Germany's greatest export in rock musicians.
Yeah, fantastic. That's the pop concert. Now, Tuesday night is a play.
Now, we'd have to have done that in Paris because they have Shakespeare in the Bois de Boulogne in Paris. That is an experience to try.
Is that a little bit like the open air theatre in Regent's Park?
Yes, similar.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So we'll have some Shakespeare. Is it in French or English?
No, it's played in English.
Oh wow. Okay. Right. I didn't know that. There we go.
But it's Shakespeare in English. It's not modern day English. So.
No. Well, as it should be.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about a West End or Broadway musical?
Well, I'm a great fan of all works by Barry Kosky, but sadly he's been working in Berlin. But I think it would have to be La Cage aux Folles for me.
Nice. That did a long run in London in the 80s, didn't it?
Yes, but it's just been in Berlin. So, but I missed it. So I would love to see it. Brilliant.
And what about an opera?
Because we're in Paris. Well, no, we're in Barcelona.
We can be back in Vienna because we've got a helicopter.
Okay, well, in Vienna, we must see Tristan and Isolde.
Brilliant. Yeah.
By Richard Wagner.
Yes. I've been to Glyndebourne several times because my brother was the cellist in the London Philharmonic Orchestra, and we've never done any. We didn't do any Wagner there, but somebody unkindly said that they went to a Wagner opera, which started at 5 p.m. 3 hours later, they looked at their watch and it was 6 p.m. Unkind, but I think, Stephen Fry is a famous Wagner fan, isn't he? Yes.
Yes, I've met him. Well, I used to belong to the London Wagner Society, and we had a meeting with him, and he gave his views on Wagner. Yes, it was he's a very interesting character.
Very, yeah. Okay. And to finish off this week, we're going to the movies, and you can watch anything you like on a big screen.
I'm still a great fan of science fiction movies from the 80s and 90s. So, or the year 2000, and it would have to be any form of science fiction fantasy, please.
Science fiction fantasy from the 80s and 90s.
Well, no, even more recent. There's been
okay.
Last 10 years, there's been plenty of science fiction fantasies, but I don't get out much because I'm working all the time, sadly.
Yeah.
That's the being a gallery owner. Yeah, you don't get to play as much as you'd like.
You should get a projector and watch them on the white wall space there.
Well, yes, I should, but I'm I have other interests in mind. Thank you.
No. Inception is the movie I watch for the music.
Ah, I see.
For Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer's soundtracks. I've seen Hans Zimmer live twice in London, and
wow,
it's like a rock concert. It's brilliant. Really good. So there we are. We're nearly there. Your last day of this 2-week sort of immersion in these 4 cities, and then you get to do your year of in-depth study. So before I leave you, we're in Malaga, and I'm calling this Hero Day. And so I've booked a wonderful restaurant for a leisurely 2-hour lunch, and you can invite any 3 people, famous or otherwise, living or dead, and they will come.
Well, it'd have to be Picasso. Okay, number 1.
Yeah.
As other people, I'm fairly flexible. I mean, I talking about cellists, I was I wouldn't say a great friend, but I knew Mstislav Rostropovich very well in London, and I would like him to be back with us, and his wife. She also sadly passed away as well. So those 3 would be my most interesting people to have to lunch.
Excellent. In which case, I'm absolutely must introduce you to my brother Greg, who lives in Berlin now, because he was a big Slava follower, I think, an inspiration to my brother. So I must.
He was my next door neighbor in London. That's why I mentioned him.
Right. Next door Slava. I'm writing down this notebook.
Only his friends called him Slava.
Yes, I'm sure. There you go. There's your fantasy cultural year completed.
Well, I look forward to enjoying it.
Yeah. People have said I should set up a travel agency so that people can do this. So, Ian, thank you so much for a number of reasons. Thank you for being one of our 4 members. Thank you for allowing me to experiment with you about the pointillism game that we've just done. If you're in the Berlin area, please drop in and experiment with this in front of the original work itself. I'm sure there will be more to follow in the gallery. Wherever this appears, there'll be links, images to the gallery and to Ian and to Paul Gardner, the artist who Ian represents. We will we would love to hear what you can see in the painting that's below. So
yes, Ian, thanks. Please send what you can see in the painting to Mark, please. It'd be very interesting.
Yeah, it would be great, and we'll pass it on, and we'll see if we can see it as well. Ian, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
And do please come to one of our forthcoming free networking events on Zoom, because I can give you a shout out, and we might try the same experiment with our guests.
What a good idea. Yes, I will definitely do that. Thank you a lot.
Thanks, Ian.
Ciao. Cheers.